Shalom, shalom, shalom to the 12 tribe that scattered abroad. Shalom to the 12 tribe that scattered abroad. Welcome back to Reading the Bible with your brother Nehemiah. I am Israel, a true seeker of Yahweh. Like, share, subscribe, comment. How we doing today, Israel? We just getting over the Passover and everything. And I know it's been real hectic for me. So I try to do the best I can of reading this Bible to y'all. But like I said, we gonna get through with it. We gonna get through with it. Today, wait, before we get started, first of all, y'all already know we gotta give all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem, Hamashiach, Yahweh Shai. Gotta give glory to him. We got to praise the Father and the Son. So today we are in Exodus chapter 38. Like I said, we had 3 chapters of these left. We finna see how many we can put down for today. So today we gonna be in Exodus chapter 38. So everybody get their King James version with the Apocrypha out and open up to Exodus chapter 38. And that's where we will begin. Okay, you know we was talking about they was building what he had told Moses to tell them. So now they got this stuff together and they started working on it. He had got the wise man with the wise-hearted man and the ones that had their heart set on that. He got them and they started building it. So we're going to pick up in chapter 38, the book of Exodus, chapter 38, verse 1. And he made the altar of burnt offering of shittim wood. 5 cubits was the length thereof, and 5 cubits the breadth thereof. It was 4 square, and 3 cubits the height thereof. So this is the burnt offering what he making. Verse 2. And he made the horns thereof on the 4 corners of it. The horns thereof were of the same, and he overlaid it with brass. So he overlaid the horns there with brass. Verse 3. And he made all the vessels of the altar, the pots, and the shovels, and the basin, and the flesh hook, and the fire pans. All the vessels thereof made he of brass. Verse 4. And he made for the altar a brass grate of network under the compass thereof, under the compass thereof, beneath unto the midst of it. Verse 5. And he cast 4 rings for the 4 ends of the grate of brass to be placed for the staff. Verse 6. And he made the staffs of shittim wood and overlaid them with brass. Verse 7. And he put the staffs into the rings on the sides of the altar to bear it withal. He made the altar hollow with boards. Verse 8. And he made the lever of brass, and the foot of it of brass, of the looking glasses of the woman assembling, which assembled at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation. Now let's see what this looking glasses is. Oh, the mirrors. The looking glasses is mirrors. Okay, verse 9. And he made the court on the south side southward. The hangings of the court were of fine twine, linen, and hundred cubits. Verse 10. Their pillars were 20, and their brass sockets 20. The hooks of the pillar and their fillets were of silver. Verse 11. And for the north side, the hangings were 100 cubits. Their pillars were 20, and their sockets of brass 20. The hooks of the pillar and their fillets of silver. Fillets of silver. So it both sides, the south and the north, were made the same way. Verse 12. And for the west side were hangings of 50 cubits, their pillar 10, and their socket 10, the hooks of the pillar, and their fillets of silver. And for the east side eastward 50 cubits. Verse 14. The hangings of the one side of the gate were 15 cubits, their pillars 3, and their sockets 3. Verse 15. And for the other side of the court gate, on this hand and that hand, were hangings of 15 cubits, their pillar 3, and their socket 3. Verse 16. All the hangings of the court round about were of fine twined linen. Verse 17. And the sockets for the pillar were of brass, the hooks of the pillar, and their fillets of silver, and the overlaying of their chapters. The overlaying of their capitals with chapters of silver. It say of silver, the overlaying of their chapters of silver, and all the pillars of the court were filleted with silver. So all the pillars of the court were silver. Filleted with silver. Verse 18. And the hanging for the gate of the court was needlework of blue and purple and scarlet and fine twined linen. And 20 cubits was the length, and the height in the breadth was 5 cubits, answerable to the hangings of the court. Corresponding to the hangings of the court. Verse 19. And their pillars were 4, and their sockets of brass 4, their hooks of silver, and the overlaying of their chapter, and their fillet of silver. Verse 20. And all the pins of the tabernacle and of the court round about were of brass. 21. This is the sum of the tabernacle, even the tabernacle of testimony, as it was counted according to the commandment of Moses, for the servants of the Levites by the hands of Ithamar, son of Aaron, the priest. Ithamar, the son of Aaron, the priest. Tabernacle. Verse 22. And Bezalel, the son of Ur, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah, made all that the Lord commanded Moses. So Bezalel, the son of Ur, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Judah. Judah is the so-called African Americans. We established all this. So he made everything, all that the Lord had commanded Moses to make. Verse 23. And with him was Aholah, son of Asmat, of the tribe of Dan, an engraver, and a cunning workman, and an embroiderer in blue and in purple and in scarlet and fine linen. So he had Holabah with him. That was the other one that God, remember, he took Bezalel and put the spirit of the Most High of wisdom, understanding in him. He did the same thing with the other one. Verse 24. All the gold that was occupied for the work and all the work of the holy place, even the gold of the offering, was 29 talents, and 730 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. Verse 25. And the silver of them that were numbered of the congregation was 100 talents, and 1,760 shekels, after the shekels of the sanctuary. Let me do something right quick, family. A shekel is, let me make sure I'm saying it right. Why is my phone? It must be hooked to some Bluetooth. Let's see. What wrong with it? It say a shekel is an ancient Near Eastern union of weight and currency. So it's like money. Equivalent to about half an ounce, and is currently the base monetary unit of modern Israel. So it's a half an ounce. So that'll be like 14 ounces. 14 grams. Out of half an ounce, a whole ounce is 28 grams. So a half an ounce gonna be 14 grams. So the shekel weighed like 14 grams. Hmm. So 500 shekels. Mm. Mm. So a shekel is a half an ounce. Verse 25, and the silver of them that were numbered of the congregation was 100 talents, and 1,760 shekels, after the shekel of the sanctuary. That was a lot of shekels. Verse 26, a beker for every man that is half a shekel, after the shekel of the sanctuary, for everyone that went to be numbered from 20 years old and upward, for 600,000 and 3,550 mans. Verse 27, and of the 100 talents of silver were cast the sockets of the sanctuary, and the socket of the veil, and 100 sockets of the 100 talents, a talent for a socket. Verse 28, and of the 1,770 and 5 shekel he made hooks for the pillar, and overlaid their chapter, and filleted them, meaning with silver. Verse 29. No, so let's see. So Okay. In the Bible, specifically the King James Version, fillet refers to silver rods, bands, or hooks used to connect the top of the column and suspend curtains in the tabernacle court. So that's what they used to do. That's what we read about when it said fillet. Because it got fillet, you can fillet a fish by taking the bone, you can fillet meat too. But that was the definition when I went reading about. See, that's what the definition they were getting. So I had to search a little deeper to get it what it mean in the Bible. So according to the Bible, that's what it means. Silver rods, bands, or hooks used to connect the top of columns and suspend curtain in the tabernacle court. So it was like fillet, they connected. Verse 29. And the brass of the offering was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels. Verse 30. And therewith he made the sockets to the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and the brass altar, and the brass grate for it, and all the vessel of the altar. Verse 31. And the socket of the court round about, and the socket of the court gate, and all the pins of the tabernacle, and all the pins of the court round about. The book of Exodus, chapter 39, verse 1. And of the blue and purple and scarlet they made cloth of service to do service in the holy place, and made the holy garment for Aaron, as the Lord commanded Moses. So now they making the holy garments. Verse 2. And he made the ephod of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen. Verse 3. And they did beat the gold into thin plates, and cut it into wires, to work it in the blue, and in the purple, and in the scarlet, and in the fine linen with cunning work. Man, this is made very, very interesting. This is how they just created this. Wow. And he took the gold and mixed it in with the purple, blue, scarlet, and fine linen. This is very beautiful. Verse 4. They made shoulder piece for it to couple it together. This the breastplate they making with the 12 stones on it by the tribe, the 12 tribes. It say to couple it together by the two edge was it coupled together. And the curacy girdle of his ephod that was upon it was of the same, according to the work thereof, of gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet, and fine twined linen, as the Lord commanded Moses. Verse 6. And they wrought onyx stones, enclosed in arch setting, arches, Ouches, arches. He said, but it really says settings. So, and verse 6 again from the top. And they wrought onyx stone enclosed in arch of gold, graven as signet are graven, with the names of the children of Israel, the 12 tribes. See, this the thing with the stones in it, the breastplate. They're going to be on the front. So we got the names of the children of the 12 tribes on it. That's what each stone represent a tribe, like Judah, Benjamin. Each stone represented a tribe. Verse 7. And he put them on the shoulders of the ephod, that they should be stones for a memorial to the children of Israel, as the Lord commanded Moses. Verse 8, and he made the breastplate of cunning work, like the work of the ephod, of the gold, blue, and purple, and scarlet, and with fine twined linen. Verse 9, it was foursquare, they made the breastplate double. A span was the length thereof, and a span the breadth thereof, being double. Verse 10, and they set in it 4 rows of stone. The first row, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. The first row was a sardius, a topaz, and a carbuncle. This was the first row. So that's the first row, the first 3, 1, 2, 3. They set 4 rows in it. 4 rows times 3 across, 4 going down, 3 going across, equal 12. So these are the 12 stones of the 12 tribes of Israel. And the second row, verse 11, an emerald, a sapphire, and a diamond. Verse 12, the third row, a lagar, and a gate, and an amethyst. Verse 13, and the fourth row, a beryl, an onyx, and a jasper. They were enclosed in arch setting of gold in their enclosing. Verse 14, and the stones were according to the names of the children of Israel, 12, according to their name, like the engraving of a signet, everyone with his name according to the 12 tribes. So basically, it came in order: Reuben, Simeon, Levi. Then the next row started Judah, and who after Judah? Verse 15. And they made upon the breastplate chains at the end of the wrathing, work of pure gold. Braided cords. That's the wrapping. And it will work of pure gold. Now this clothing, this garment that they making for Aaron, man, you tell me this thing ain't worth no money. And it might be. And it got to be heavy. It got to be heavy. All this on there. And then all the work of most of the work with pure gold. Then he got stoned. Verse 16. And they made 2 arches of gold and 2 gold rings, and put the 2 rings in the 2 ends of the breastplate. Verse 17. And they put the 2 wrapping chains of gold in the 2 rings on the end of the breastplate. And the 2 ends of the 2 wrapping chain they fastened in the 2 arches, and put them on the shoulder piece of the ephod before it. So they put them up there to hang the shoulder piece, the breastplate, upon the chair. Verse 19. And they made 2 rings of gold, and put them on the 2 ends of the breastplate, up upon the border of it, which was on the side of the ephod inward. Verse 20. And they made 2 other golden rings, and put them on the 2 sides of the ephod underneath, toward the forepart of it, over against the other coupling thereof, above the cuirass girdle of the ephod. Verse 21. And they did bend the breastplate by his rings unto the rings of the ephod, with a lace of blue, that it might be above the cuirass girdle of the ephod, and that the breastplate might not be loosed from the ephod, as the Lord commanded Moses. So he doing everything that Moses, what the Lord commanded Moses to do. They putting it together. Verse 22. And he made the robe, and he made the robe of the ephod of wolf work, all of blue. So the robe is made of wolf work, and it was all blue. Verse 23. And there was an hole in the midst of the robe, as the hole of an habargon. Let's see what this is. I can't hear it, so. Habergeon. A habergeon is a medieval, often sleeveless, short jacket of chain mail that protects the neck and breast, typically worn under plate armor. Originated in the 14th century from the Old French habergeon, little harbach. It served as a lighter form of armor. Synonyms include mail, harbor, change mail, or coat of mail. So it's basically like an armor. It's a habergeon with a band round about the hole that it should not ring. So it goes like up under the breastplate. And they made upon the hem of the robe pomegranates of blue and purple and scarlet and twined linen. So at the hem, at the bottom, like where we be wearing our fringes at, they made pomegranates of blue, purple, or twined linen. Verse 25. And they made bells of pure gold and put the bells between the pomegranate upon the hem of the robe round about between the pomegranate. Man, that tight. That tight. They took the pomegranate and then made gold bell, the pomegranate bell. Verse 26, a bell and a pomegranate, round about the hem of the robe to minister in, as the Lord commanded Moses. Verse 27, and they made coats of fine linen of wool, work for Aaron and for his son. Verse 28, and a mitre of fine linen and goodly bonnets of fine linen and linen breeches of fine twined linen. So they had their breeches too. Verse 29, and a girdle of fine twined linen and blue and purple and scarlet of needlework, as the Lord commanded Moses. And they, verse 30, and they made the plate of the holy crown of pure gold and wrote upon it a writing like to the engraving of a signet. Holiness to the Lord. That's what they wrote upon the engraving. Verse 31. And they tied unto it a lace of blue to fasten it on the high upon the mitre, as the Lord commanded Moses. Verse 32. Thus was all the work of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation finished, and the children of Israel did according to all that the Lord commanded Moses. So did they. So they really did what they supposed to have been doing so far. Verse 33. And they brought the tabernacle unto Moses, the tent, and all his furniture, his taches, his borders, his bar, and his pillar, and his socket. Verse 34. And the covering of ram skin dyed red, and the covering of badger skin, and the veil of the covering. Verse 35. The ark of the testimony, and the staves thereof, and the mercy seat. Verse 36, the table and all the vessels thereof, and the shewbread. Verse 37, the pure candlestick with the lamp thereof, even with the lamp to the set in order, and all the vessels thereof, and the oil for light. Verse 38, and the gold altar, and the anointed oil, and the sweet incense, and the hanging for the tabernacle door. Verse 39, the brassen altar, and his grate of brass, his staff, and all his vessels, the laver, and his foot. Verse 40, the hanging of the court, his pillar, and his socket, and the hanging for the court gate, his cord, and his pin, and all the vessels of the servants of the tabernacle, for the tent of the congregation. Verse 41, the clothes, meaning garment, wolf garment, where they made Aaron, the clothes of service, to do the service in the holy place, and the holy garment for Aaron the priest, and his son's garment, to minister in the priest's office. Verse 42, according to all that the Lord commanded Moses, so the children of Israel made all the work. So they made all the work, and they brought all this to Moses. Verse 43, and Moses did look upon all the work. So he looked at it, he checked it out. And behold, they had done it as the Lord had commanded. Even so, they done it, and Moses blessed them. Being obedience. That's all it's about. Being obedient, following the Creator, your King. That's all it is. Last chapter, y'all. The book of Exodus, chapter 40, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, on the first day of the first month shalt thou set up the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation. So the first day of the first month. And what is that? The first day is Abib. It's called Abib. The first month is called Abib. So the first day of the first month. What we around? We around Passover time now. So he said on the first day of the first month, Abib. And when is Abib come around? Around springtime. It's springtime. So that'll be somewhere between the middle of March and the beginning of April. Like this year, it was the new moon, the first new moon for the year was March. Let me see. I think March 18 or the 19th. So that's when the first month Abib started. Cause that was the first moon of the year. Like the second moon is this month on the 16th, I think. But the congregation, we all not on one accord. It's a congregation that I bond with here, COI, Children of Israel. I like them. But I don't believe in a 13-month. Because the Bible never mentioned no 13 month. So I go off what the Bible says. So like we'll be having the first new moon will be this month for them. The first new moon was last month with me. But I'm going to celebrate with them. Their Passover is the makeup Passover, because my Passover was already April the 1st. Wednesday. 7-day feast. And theirs going to be May the 1st. This is what I'm celebrating with them. We not on one accord, but it's just I don't believe in a 13 month, because the Bible never mentioned it. But I do congregate with them. I go out on, that's who I camp out with. That's the body that I mess with. But I study also with Sons of Thunder, Battle Axe, Believers of the Way, what the name of them? Oh man, I forgot the name of them. The other dudes too. It's a couple of dudes that I watch, but I love Sons of Thunder. They general are man. They got some good lessons. I congregate with my body here in COI, but I do a lot of studying with Sons of Thunder. Put it like that. So he said, on the first day of the first month, that's a bill, shall thou set up the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation. Verse 3. And thou shalt put therein the ark of the testimony, and the cover the ark with the veil. So he said you put the testimony in the cover, and the cover is the parchment off. The ark with the veil. Verse 4. And thou shalt bring in the table, and set in order the things that are to be set in order upon it. And thou shalt bring in the candlestick, and light the lamps thereof. Now he's setting everything up, and he bringing this stuff in. This is what the Most High told Moses. That's what he spake unto Moses to do. Verse 5. And thou shalt set the altar of gold for the incense before the ark of the testimony, and put the hanging of the door to the tabernacle. And I know some of y'all probably like, why is he saying this? Because this is a commandment. What God gave us, laws, statutes, and commandment, judgments. So this is a commandment where he told Moses to tell the children of Israel that we got to do. Being obedient, follow the commandment. He basically, I'm going to see, I don't want to say testing us to see what we going to be, is we going to obey. Because he already know what we going to do. He already know what decision, what we're going to make. So that's why I don't want to say he testing us. But he trying to see who going to stand for him. Like what the scriptures say, who going to stand up, who going to stand for me? I can't remember what book and chapter that is. Matter of fact, let's go find it. Let me see how we can do this. We're going to pick up back at verse 6. Let me see something right here. Where in the Bible it say who will stand for me?
You'll find the word look at chapter 94, verse 16. It asks, who will stand up?
Let's see. Let's go to the other Bible, because I don't want to. Oh, hold on. It was Psalms 94. And verse 16 it say. Well, this ain't what yeah, this it. The book of Psalms, chapter 94, verse 16, he said, who will rise up for me against the evildoer? Or who will stand up for me against the worker of iniquity? See, that's all our job. That's why I'm here reading the Bible to y'all. Because I'm going to stand for him. He said, who going to stand for him? Just like what he's saying in him, what you saying with him when he telling Moses to tell the children to do this. Who going to do this? Who going to stand? Which he already know who is going to be. See, like what I tell y'all, what I say according to the Bible, I can show it to you. So who going to stand for him? See, we be out there on that corner teaching his word, be on the live pages teaching his word, but y'all don't, our people just hard-headed. But this is our duty. We have to stand. If we accept the point, same thing you supposed to do. You say you love Jesus. That what you say? So you need to stand for him. What he did, he came and taught his people what he said. I only was sent for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So that's what the same thing you are. You sent for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. How can you say you love Jesus and God when you can't love your brother who you see every day? And you have hatred in your heart for him. That ain't not the way we're supposed to be. Let's continue. But I just wanted to show you that when it means that who will stand for him, that's what he's trying to see. Verse C, and thou shalt set the altar of the burnt offering before the door of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation. Verse 7, and thou shalt set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and shall put water therein. Verse 8, and thou shalt set up the court round about, and hang up the hanging at the court gate. Verse 9, and thou shalt take the anointed oil and anoint the tabernacle and all that and all that is therein. So you got to take the anointed oil and anoint the tabernacle and everything that's in it, and shall hallow it. We already know what it means about hallow, right? If you don't, let's get it.
Hallow.
To hallow is to make holy, consecrate, or greatly honor and revere something as scarred. So to make holy. So you hallow, and shall hallow it, and all the vessels thereof, and it shall be holy. It explained it itself. We ain't even had to go get the definition of all of it. As I just told you. That's why I said the Bible is self-explanatory to itself. The only thing you have to do is read it, get the understanding of it. It's going to explain exactly what it's saying and what it means. It do it. Verse 10, and thou shalt anoint the altar of the burnt offering and all his vessels, and sanctify the altar, and it shall be an altar most holy. The same thing what he just did with the other stuff when he hallowed it. He did the same thing with the altar. He sanctified it. He holy it. He made it most holy. Verse 11, and thou shalt anoint the laver and his foot, and sanctify it. Everything that's in this tabernacle shall be sanctified and holy. Verse 12, and thou shalt bring Aaron and his son unto the door of the tabernacle of the congregation, and wash them with water. Now what they finna be? They finna be hallowed too, because they finna be holy. Verse 13, and thou shalt put upon Aaron the holy garments, and anoint him, and sanctify him, that he may minister unto me in the priest's office. So he had to put on the holy garment and be sanctified. And they sanctify him that he may minister unto the Lord. Verse 14, and thou shalt bring his sons and clothe them with coats. Now he getting his son. Verse 15, and thou shalt anoint them, and thou didst anoint their father, that they may minister unto me in the priest's office. For their anointing shall surely be an everlasting priesthood throughout their generation. Now, I want to say something on that. Not all Levites, not all the Levites, if you ain't come from Aaron line, you can't be a priest. Because not all Levites, it's only Aaron line. Aaron, his sons, his son's son, his son's son's sons. You have to come from, it's not just only Aaron and Levite now. Moses a Levite. You got more Levite. But they ain't made Moses line the priesthood. It made Aaron line the priesthood. So you have to be a son of Aaron. Like I said, Aaron and his son, his son's son, his son's son, all the way down. They have to be in the same lineage with Aaron. They got to be Aaron's son, not Moses' son. Because Aaron is the priest, high priest. So only Aaron's son, when his daddy died, the next one, I don't know which one it was, but I think it was, he moved in the spot. He took, when Aaron passed, when Aaron time with his legs, y'all gonna get, we gonna get all of that too. Aaron did some things what he ain't supposed to do, so he ain't gonna live to see the promised land neither. But his son gonna move in this spot. I forgot which one it was. But it throughout the priesthood, it says, surely be an everlasting. He said, for their anointing shall surely be an everlasting priesthood throughout their generation. Meaning their line. Verse 16. Thus did Moses according to all that the Lord commanded him. So did he. Verse 17. And it came to pass in the first month, in the second year, on the first day of the month, that the tabernacle was reared up. So it came to pass, meaning it happened. It was the first month in the second year. So this first year they was already out. The first year when they first came out of Egypt, they dealt with that. So now going into the second year, they hold the Passover the first year, but they still wander around in the woods. You know, they cross over into the Red Sea been split for this during the first year. So now he telling him when to put the tabernacle up in the beginning of the first month, the first day of the first month. So now the next year came, the second year, the first month. I remember it been a year since we came out of Egypt now. We left the first month. But we left out on the 14, 15 days. Right after we got through eating the Passover. We left out. It was still dark. We left out then. Between the 14 and the 15 days. Because remember, we prepared the lamb on the 14th at Eve. Remember all this? Now you see, all this is just, let me see what they say. They said, biblical instruction before leaving earth. What Bible means. But this is our history. What went on? How did we come to the bout of where we at now? This tell it all. from the Old Testament to the Apocrypha and to the New Testament. Revelation tell you how everything gonna end. But we don't pay no attention to these things. You know, a lot of us out here trying to save our people, and we trying to save ourselves too. So we can't fall for our people. If they don't want to come, we can't make them. Only thing we can do is what we doing now. Show you the way. Try to get you into it. That's all we can do. So he had to rear it, he said in the second year, on the first day of the month, that the tabernacle was reared up. Meaning it was raised up. Verse 18. And Moses reared up the tabernacle and fastened his socket and set up the borders thereof and put in the bars thereof and reared up his pillar. Verse 19. And he spread abroad the tent over the tabernacle and put the covering of the tent above upon it, as the Lord commanded Moses. Verse 20. And he took and put the testimony into the ark and set the staff on the ark and put the mercy seat above upon the ark. Verse 21. And he brought the ark into the tabernacle and set up the veil of the covering and covered the ark of the testimony, as the Lord commanded Moses. So Moses doing this himself. Verse 22. And he put the table in the tent of the congregation upon the side of the tabernacle northward without the veil. So the ones who made it ain't doing it. Moses doing it. Verse 23. And he set the bread in order upon it before the Lord, as the Lord had commanded Moses. And he put the candlestick in the tent of the congregation over against the table on the side of the tabernacle southward. Verse 25. And he lighted the lamps before the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. Verse 26. And he put the golden altar in the tent of the congregation before the veil, and he burnt sweet incense thereon, as the Lord commanded Moses. And he set up the hanging at the door of the tabernacle. Verse 29. And he put the altar of burnt offering by the door of the tabernacle of the tent of the congregation, and offer upon it the burnt offering and the meat offering, as the Lord commanded Moses. Verse 30. And he set the laver between the tent of the congregation and the altar, and put water there to wash withal. Verse 31. And Moses and Aaron and his son washed their hands and their feet thereat. Verse 32. When they went into the tent of the congregation, and when they came near unto the altar, they washed, as the Lord commanded Moses. Every time they went in the tent, every time they came near to the congregation, they washed. Where near unto the altar, they washed. Verse 33. And he reared up the court round about the tabernacle and the altar, and set up the hanging of the court gate. So Moses finished the work. Verse 34. Then a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. So once he finished the work, a cloud covered the tent of the congregation, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. And Moses, verse 35, and Moses was not able to enter into the tent of the congregation, because the cloud abode thereon, and the glory of the Lord filled the tabernacle. Verse 36. And when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went onward in all their journeys. Verse 37. But if the cloud were not taken up, then they journeyed not till the day that it was taken up. So, what it's saying is, from 36 and 37, if the cloud get up from the tabernacle, meaning they have to pack up, and now they moving to a new location. They finna travel. See, they might sit there probably a year. See, where they at now, I think they sat there a whole year. Because he said the second year. When they stopped, made it to the mountain where Sinai at, they sat there that whole year. Well, I ain't going to say that whole year because they were traveling. So, I'd say probably like, they stayed there probably like 9 months, maybe 10 months. It ain't took them no more like a month and a half to 2 months to make it across the thing. To get when they got crossed there, then make it to Sinai about a month and a half. And when they made it there, cause you know it's a whole lot. They got old folk, they got kids, they got cattle. They had a whole lot. They was being attacked. So it ain't like they just made it there in a week. No. But when the cloud stayed there, they stayed. When the cloud got up and moved, they moved. That's what it's saying. Let's read 36 and 37 again from the top. Verse 36, and when the cloud was taken up from over the tabernacle, meaning when it came up over the tabernacle, the children of Israel went, meaning journey. They moved onward in all their journey. They moved and went forward. Meaning they left the spot where they was journeying at, and from going to find another spot, God gonna lead them to another spot. Verse 37, but if the cloud were not taken up, so if the cloud still among the tabernacle, then they journeyed not till the day that it was taken up. So they ain't moving until that day that the cloud came up out the tabernacle. It's understandable, I told you. It's self-explanatory itself. You ain't got to do nothing but read it. Verse 38, for the cloud of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout their journey. So it was in sight of all this house of Israel. You see where all this coming from. Who only he talking to? This the thing. For the cloud of the Lord was upon the tabernacle by day, and fire was on it by night, in the sight of all the house of Israel throughout their journey. Family, that was the end of Exodus chapter 40. That's the end of the book of Exodus. Y'all need to go back and read it to get more understanding and clarification who he keep numbering out, who he keep telling Moses to signal to, who to tell this to, say this to them, do this to them, tell them they need to do this. Stop trying to bring people in. Let the Lord do his thing. We just obey and do what the Father say. We carry out his law. We carry out his commandment. If the other nation want to carry out this, they have to bow down. They have to understand that we first. And when they get, that's what the Phoenician woman did when she said dogs eat from their master table too. The crumbs from their master table too. She recognized that Israel come first and they get the crumbs. See, all these people bringing these people, trying to bring them in for salvation. These folk do not have salvation. They got to honor Israel first. That's their salvation. They got to recognize that they come secondhand to us. That's their salvation. I was watching yesterday. I was watching the Israel of God. Some things she teach, but you know that he signed that paper with them folk to get money to help all these, especially he got a lot of churches everywhere. Because you can tell the way he teach. He teach that Israel. He teach certain things. But some things you can just tell what he teach. He trying to bring other nations in with her. When like the scripture he read, I can't remember what it was. He always throw me off. That ain't talking about, it say nation. But it was talking about Israel. And then the other nation, them the ones that gonna put us first. Yeah, we gonna have people, we got to fulfill Isaiah chapter 14. We gonna bring some of them back with us. How else we gonna get all ready? If we don't bring none of them, it just be all Israel coming back with us, cause and we ain't gonna get no red, cause we gotta rebuild the temple. We gotta do all this. No, they supposed to do this. They tore it down. See, but now we'll be moving into Leviticus. And we'll be getting more of the laws, the commandments and the statutes. But we in the third book of Moses. Meaning we got Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. Now, if it ever get interesting now, because if it'll tell you about the dietary law, the mortar law, the sacrificial law, if it'll tell you about all this now. And none of this was done away with. What do y'all think Yahweh Shai, who the word ignorant called Jesus Christ, what do y'all think he was teaching when he was walking this earth? He was teaching the book of the Torah, the 5 books of the Torah, the law. He told you if you would have believed Moses, you would have believed me. So he was teaching Moses. He was teaching the book of Moses, the Torah. He was teaching Genesis. He was teaching Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, the books of Moses. He couldn't have been teaching the New Testament. The New Testament wasn't even written. He was teaching the book of Moses in the Apocrypha. And he was fulfilling